The moment that broke me happened at my wife Emily's birthday dinner. We were sitting in a crowded restaurant, surrounded by her friends, her family, and her mother, Carol. I had paid for everything, like I always did, but that night it did not matter. Carol stood up with her glass raised and smiled like she was about to give a kind toast. Instead, she looked straight at me and laughed. She said I was the biggest mistake Emily ever made. She called me old, weak, and useless. She said Emily deserved a real man, not someone who was living off yesterday's value. People laughed. Some looked uncomfortable, but no one stopped her. I waited for Emily to say something. She did not. She laughed too. My face burned. My hands shook on the table. I wanted to stand up and leave, but I stayed. I needed to see how far they would go. Carol finished by saying I should be grateful Emily still kept me around. Then she sat down like nothing happened. That was when I realized this was not a joke. It was a message, and everyone in that room had just watched me receive it. When we got home that night, I finally asked Emily why she let her mother talk to me like that. She did not apologize. She did not even look surprised. She told me I was being dramatic and said I embarrassed her by looking upset. That hurt more than the words at the restaurant. She told me people our age should know their place. She said I had become a burden, not a partner. Then she said something I will never forget. She said, "My mom is right. You don't bring much to the table anymore." I slept on the couch that night, not because she asked me to, but because I could not stand being in the same bed. As I lay there, I replayed every small insult from the past few years. Every joke that was not really a joke. Every time I was ignored. I realized the disrespect had been growing slowly, like rotten wood. That night, I stopped trying to fix the marriage. I stopped arguing. I started watching. And watching carefully changed everything. Over the next few weeks, I paid attention to things I used to ignore. Emily stopped asking my opinion on anything. Her mother started coming over every day. Carol would sit in my chair, go through my mail, and comment on my clothes. She treated me like a guest in my own home. I remembered how different things used to be. I built my career from nothing. I paid for the house. I supported Emily when she wanted to stop working. None of that mattered anymore. All they saw was a man they thought was done. The worst part was how calm they were about it. There was no anger, just quiet removal. I felt like furniture being pushed aside. Instead of reacting, I stayed quiet. I started keeping notes. Dates, words, actions. I did not know why yet, but something in me knew I would need them. They thought my silence meant defeat. It did not. It meant preparation. One morning, I overheard Carol and Emily talking in the kitchen. They did not know I was home. Carol said it was time to finalize things. Emily asked if I would sign without asking questions. Carol laughed and said men like me always did. That was the moment fear turned into clarity. They were planning something. I did not confront them. I made coffee and acted normal. Later that day, I called a lawyer I once worked with years ago. We spoke quietly. He listened carefully. He told me not to sign anything without him. He also told me I had more rights than I realized. For the first time in months, I slept peacefully. A few days later, Carol handed me papers and said they were simple updates. She smiled like she was doing me a favor. Emily watched closely. I said I would review them first. Carol rolled her eyes. That night, my lawyer confirmed my fears. The papers would have given Emily full control of everything. The house, the accounts, even my retirement. All legal if I signed. I did not get angry. I thanked him and asked what my options were. He smiled and said time. So I gave them time. I pretended to be tired, weak, confused. I asked fewer questions. I agreed more. Carol relaxed. Emily became careless. They stopped hiding their plans. At the same time, I reached out to an old professional contact named Alan. He remembered my work and offered me a consulting role. It was small at first, but it gave me something important: independence. Emily never asked where I was going. She did not care. That worked in my favor. At a family gathering, Carol introduced Emily to another man, right in front of me. She called him successful and driven. Emily smiled. I smiled too. That smile confused them. They expected anger. They did not know I was already moving on in ways they could not see. That night, I decided I would let them believe they had won. My consulting work grew quickly. I was invited into meetings, decisions, leadership. I stayed professional and quiet. I never mentioned my personal life. One day, I realized the company I worked with handled contracts for Carol's business. She depended on them heavily. I did nothing. I waited. Emily asked for a separation. She said it like she was ordering food. Carol stood behind her, smiling. I agreed without argument. That scared them more than yelling ever could. I moved out peacefully. I left the house without drama. People assumed I lost everything. They were wrong. At a formal business meeting months later, I saw Carol across the table. She did not recognize me at first. When she did, her face went pale. I was not there as her victim. I was there as her equal. I treated her fairly. Professionally, no anger, no revenge talk, just rules. She realized too late that respect matters. Emily tried to reconnect. She apologized softly. I listened, but I did not go back. Their business struggled, not because of me, but because of their choices. Arrogance catches up to everyone. During divorce proceedings, my lawyer presented evidence of manipulation. Calmly, clearly, the room changed. Friends took sides. Truth has weight. The settlement was fair. I lost nothing that was mine. Carol tried one last plea. She admitted she underestimated me. I thanked her. Emily cried. I wished her well. I signed my final agreement at work. They left the room quietly. I went home to my own place. Peace felt better than revenge. Respect returned when I demanded it through action. I learned dignity cannot be taken, only surrendered, and I never surrendered again.